Hey, how's it going? Low Scrag here, and welcome back to Ascension of the Technomancer. Um, a lot has been going on behind the scenes here, and I really apologize for not having a new episode lately for the last few weeks, but yeah, I've been really working hard, so let's show you what I've been up to. Um, so we're actually not going to start inside the workshop here. Done some minor slash major things out here with the bees. I've been working on um, breeding some bees and getting a good stockpile of them going. But really, the coolest thing that I have going is that I've managed to breed some of the trees together. The silver birch and the apple oak trees join together to make the silver lime. And then the silver lime can breed with either one of these to get the hill cherry. So I've got that now. And this is all in an effort to get up to the point where I have the mango tree. The mango tree, once I start growing those and harvesting their fruit, will help me to make ethanol in a more efficient manner there inside the base. I set up a blood altar thing out here. Right now it's just I put this together so that I could cover up the area for when I start stabbing myself in the face and collecting blood, and the rain doesn't wash it away. But I did go ahead and plot out the largest blood altar that you can get. It's something like a 25 by 25. So, or no, I'm sorry, 23 by 23. So I plotted out a 25 by 25 area, and that's what these holes mark right here. I've got a cat that won't shut up, just like in real life. Let's see. Over here, somehow we have collected ourselves an elephant. He has also somehow taken some damage. I'm not really sure what that's all about. Yeah. No, it's a Mo Creatures elephant. He just appeared in our area here, and I just realized that I'm in peaceful. Hang on. Oop. There we go. No longer in peaceful. I haven't done anything more with Britannia, although I have been collecting some mana. Definitely do some more. Get out of the way, pig. We can do here. Let's go. 1, 2. Aha. 2 of them lights all of them on fire. I love that. Efficiency. All right. So, haven't done anything else with the house or these fruit trees or anything. In the base, though, we have changed a lot. Let's get in there and I'll show you around. One of the first things you might notice is that the Gregtech area is gone. I have moved it, and we'll talk about that in a second. I did really want to progress with rotary craft, so I started doing that. And in the nether, I had to set up a blast furnace, one of these guys right here, so we could get it up to the right temperature to be able to create silicone. Rotorcraft silicon, yes, Rotorcraft silicon, which is done right here. Let's see, silicon. So you got to take aluminum powder or dust, and blaze powder and some sand at a temperature of 700 C, and that gives you silicon powder. The reason why we needed to make silicon powder is so that we could make aluminum alloy. That is right here, which requires a temperature of 900 C. So you need the silicon powder, and then the aluminum ingots turns into aluminum alloy ingots. Turns out it's not so easy to get a temperature of 900 degrees C. Can't do it in the nether. And so what we had to do was this setup right here with the AC electric engines and some shaft junctions and gearbox and all that stuff. We'll show you what that's all about in a moment. So what I ended up having to do was use a regular old gasoline engine, connected to a gearbox with this magnetizing unit. Magnetizing unit is, I'll show you how it's made. Unit, there we go. Magnetizing unit is made with these gold coils and some base panels, redstone, and a mount that gives you a magnetizing unit. But the gold coils are a HSLA steel ingot surrounded by gold ingots or electric ingots. Obviously, the gold ingots are cheaper to make with. I don't know why you even have the option of using electrum. Seems really dumb. You get the exact same item out of them. Apparently, you can find them in mineshaft chests, but haven't yet done that. Anyway, so magnetizing unit requires a minimum power of 16 kilowatts and 2,000 radians per second. The gasoline engine produces the 65 kilowatts, so it's more than enough power, but the speed it produces is only 512 radians. So you got to put a 4x gearbox on that in order to, a 4x gearbox on that in order to get it up to the right speed, but that's just the minimum speed. You actually want to put it on a 16x gearbox in order to get it up to a higher speed, so you can get the processing speed of the magnetizing unit down. But what do you do with the magnetizing unit? Well, you got to put shaft cores into the magnetizing unit. Those are these items right here, along with a redstone clock, which I don't know why that's still there. Redstone clock that I had set up, and I don't have it set up anymore. Don't really know why. I don't really need it right now because I've got shaft cores charged up pretty well. And what that'll do with the redstone clock and the engines pumping into the magnetizing unit with the shaft core will charge up the shaft core with let's say MT. I don't remember what MT is. Milli something. So you needed all that. Charged up the shaft cores. And then the AC electric engines are actually not that bad to make either. But they need the shaft cores in order to run. And the AC electric engines, you need some more of those gold coils, some gold ingots, shaft units, some base panels, and redstone in the work table, the rotary craft work table. And we had to make 3 of these in order to power up our friction heater to get the blast furnace to 900 degrees or higher. And I'll show you how that's done. Take out these shaft cores. Come in here. What you see is I get close to these, and they just start running because they run with the power of the magnetized shaft core in your hand. Although that's not really great, so we'll just throw those in there, and they stop running because they're no longer receiving any energy. So you can see that's all stopped. And we've got these redstone comparators set up in a clock fashion. Here, along with these 2 shaft junctions so that we can hook up 3 of the engines together. And I'll show you what we've got with just 2 of the engines. We'll turn this on. And now they're running straight in with 131 kilowatts, 256 torque, and 512 radians. Well, that's no good because a friction heater runs best when the torque and the radians are equal. And you can see, well, we only get up to that's where it stops, 894C. Completely frustrating. So once we turn on this other one though, you'll see that the power goes up because we're joining the power of these 3 engines together. But the torque will equal out because we've got a 2x gearbox in speed mode. Now, you can see our temperature goes up to 1002 C, and we can create the aluminum alloy ingots. Don't actually need these to be running anymore. Turn those off. And the power goes all wonky because of the magnetized shaft cores that are still in there. Still kind of running the show a little bit, so we'll take those out because we don't need them right now. Do anything. There. All right. So now we've got our aluminum alloy ingots, which we needed in order to create the performance engine. That up really quick. Performance engine produces 262 kilowatts, which is the exact same of the, or no, I'm sorry, it's twice the AC electric engine. What does the AC electric engine produce? AC electric produces, yeah, it's twice what the AC electric engine does, but it has the benefit of running at a much higher radian speed, but a slightly lower torque. But what that means is that you can use two 16x gearboxes on a magnetizing unit, and if you do that, it will actually reduce the charge speed of a shaft core down to half a second. No, I'm sorry, 0.05 seconds. Once again, you still have to have the redstone clock in there. Although I found that for some reason at that charge speed, it wouldn't actually work correctly. So what I did was just take a lever and stick it on the wall above the magnetizing unit and just keep turning it off and on and off and on. And it was charging at a much faster rate than with the redstone clock. Don't know why. I think it's a bug, but could be wrong. Let's throw this in here. Oh, apparently I don't have one. Okay, so anyway, performance engine is made. Most of the stuff is actually pretty easy to put together. You got a radiator, which is just some gold ingots and a liquid pipe and some steel ingots. And you've got this ignition unit, which is some gold ingots, some steel ingots, and a redstone. That's all pretty simple and easy to make. Gear units, you just need a couple of gears and a couple shaft units. The impeller, this is a steel gear surrounded by ingots in the cardinal directions. So, yeah, that's not too difficult to put together. It's these things right here that we needed the aluminum alloy for. The aluminum alloy cylinder just requires 8. No. Stop it. See, the rain makes those Endermen go nuts. And they start casting spells on me, and it makes me so mad. Anyway, the aluminum alloy cylinder is just 8 ingots, but you get 2 of them, which is exactly enough to create 1 performance engine, which we've done over here so that we could reduce the charge time on the magnetizing unit. Don't have any fuel in there. The performance engine requires water to run. Well, not to run. It doesn't use it as a fuel, but it uses it to cool. Because if the performance engine gets to 1000 C, it will explode in in quite the devastating fashion. Down here we've got an engine control unit, which we can use in order to turn on and off the performance engine and the gasoline engine. And I think even the steam engine, it allows you to control the output and actually whether or not it's turned on or off for engines that you just put fuel in and they go until the fuel runs out. Engine control unit is put together with the circuit board, the steel ingot, the gold ingot, and a redstone. The circuit board is this configuration right here. You can either use an ender pearl or you can use silicon for rotary craft. I have not made silicon for rotary craft. I think it's just silicon. Yeah, you just cook silicon powder. I still had a circuit board left over from a long time ago when I first made. What did I make? Was it the fermenter? I think the fermenter needed a circuit board. Where are you? Outside somewhere. Oh my god, are you inside here? Yep, you are. Die. You did not die. Let's see, did he go upstairs? Nope, he took off. I'm sure he'll be back though. Let's see. So yeah, we currently are not producing, or not, yeah, we're not making any more ethanol, and I'll show you why here in a bit. I believe in a previous episode we did go ahead and turn off the tree farm, just because we didn't have much of a use for the charcoal anymore, but that has changed a little bit, and I'll show you that in a moment. Now we've got this ender tank here, which turns out it's actually not that difficult to create ender tanks in this mod pack. Tank is just some limonite ingots from Advent of Ascension, some crushed obsidian, moon dust, and cauldrons. Well, moon dust you get from mobs that appear during a full moon. Crushed obsidian you get from throwing those here into the rock crusher, which we made a long time ago. And the limonite ingots are just from the limonite ore deep underground. So yeah, we got the inner tanks. This one's a water tank. This one is an oil tank, which I'll show you where the oil is coming from later on. We've also got an endothermic pump. We are not pumping anything with it though. We're just using it as, surprise, surprise, a cheap chunk loader. I found out that, let's see, wait, hang on, thermic, that's easier. So endothermic pumps made with an Invar gear and a pump from Industrial Craft, an ender-infused obsidian, and a quartz fluid pipe. All this stuff is actually pretty easy to make. The iron chipsets I already had from our assembly table over here. And so the Invar gear, you'd normally create those with the plates and the rods. However, I found out that you can do it instead of using 8 ingots, you can use 4 ingots in order to create a single gear in the fluid solidifier with a gear mold. So I did that. I had some Invar ingots already made from previous a long time ago. So we threw those into the fluid extractor, melted them down, put them in the fluid solidifier to turn them into gears. So once again, efficiency, yay. So yeah, this endothermic pump is a chunk loader. We've got another one way out to the south that is also loading a chunk. And actually, hang on, let me see. Yeah, this is currently running. So what we got here is a bedrockium drum. All those times that we went into dungeons and found those bedrockium ingots, I had so many of them lying around that I went ahead and made a bedrockium drum because it holds 65 million millibuckets of anything, of whatever you put into it. So 65,000, I think is what it is, or 6.5 million buckets. I think it's 65,000 buckets, or no? Hell, I don't know. Yeah, anyway, holds a lot of fluid. And the oil source that I found is huge. This is 100% from the oil source that I found. So we're up to 7.08 million millibuckets of oil just from one oil source. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and just show you what's going on down there. Let's go ahead and teleport over there. No longer raining. Oh wait, let's put our armor on. Never know what's going to end up spawning out here. We'll just glide over there. Yeah, see? Got these guys going out here. Boop. Alright, nope, you die. And are you guys gonna, yep, you're gonna come over here. You die. Are you coming over? You're stuck in a spider web. Okay. You guys are gonna bother me too, so I might as well come and get you. Go. Okay. Anyway, so we've got our endothermic pump here, and all it requires... Oh, it's actually out of RF. So I'm going to have to go get a thing in order to charge it back up. So yeah. Darn it. Okay, I'll have to go get some a capacitor over here to charge it up. What we got here actually is a pump jack. And we'll set up an iron pipe into this inner tank, which currently has 0 oil in it because it's pumping it into the chest back at home. I'm sorry, the barrel back at home. And then I set up this chest here to collect items because as this thing digs down, it breaks the blocks beneath it, replaces it with a concrete concrete shaft or something like that. But the items come out of here and end up just floating in the world unless you have something to collect them. So I went and collected them. It's not much. Like it didn't have to dig very far before it found the oil source. And it's just been pumping away ever since I put that down. I'll show you when we get back to the base how all that stuff was created. And why the GregTech stuff is no longer out there. So let me go back home real quick. Like I said, that's just for showing you more quickly things that are going on. I don't normally use the teleport function. Oh my. I didn't realize. So the endothermic pump started pumping a bunch of water and turned all this into stone. That sucks. I didn't even realize. Wasn't paying attention. Alright, I'll have to do something about that later. Anyway. Back home and safe. We've got, yeah, this has got 10,000 RF in it. Let me grab... Let's grab that capacitor real quick. Get out there. Okay. Oh, and I've also got a little solar generator here. I'll show you about that in a moment. It was just doing some testing. Did it go inside? It went inside. Okay. Hang on. Broke that and went there. All right. So let me go charge that endothermic pump up really quickly. Cool. Gonna bother me? We'll just stick that right there. It gets its RF really quickly. Go. So now it's all charged up. And you're gonna bother me. Alright. You wish you hadn't. Alright. Now that's all charged up. We will leave it alone. And go back home quickly. Here we go. And we gotta put this all back together now. We can keep stuff powered. There we go. Alright, I'm gonna go back inside. Hook these guys back up. Boop. And boop. There we go. Now we got power. And we've got oil pumping. And everything is great. So what are we doing with all this oil? Well, let's see, is there anything else that I wanted to before we go downstairs? Oh yeah. So The pump jack and everything that we set up. Pump jack is it's actually just a single block, a single item. It's made with some iron ingots and electric motor, which is made with copper coils, iron ingots, and copper ingots. Copper coils are just made with a single iron bar and 4 copper ingots. You get 4 copper coils. You put all that stuff together, make the electric motor, and then the diamond drill is made with a couple iron ingots and a diamond beneath. But how do you run it? Because it does need power, and it is a Magneticraft machine, so it doesn't run on RF. It runs on Magneticraft power. Well, we use those solar panels. Let's see. I think it was this one. Yeah, solar panels to power it. They generate just a little bit of power, but 5 of them are enough to run that thing all day long. And that's put together with quartz dust and plastic sheets and photovoltaic dust. Well, photovoltaic dust is made with quartz dust surrounding diamond dust. You get 9 of them, so I did have to make a few of those. However, it's made specifically with either immersive engineering or Magneticraft quartz dust. So I can't throw it into like a rock crusher or a GregTech machine macerator in order to create the dust that we need. What is happening? Why am I taking damage? Something was tossing me around. I don't know what. Hey. It was really weird. That put some damage on my helmet, I think. Huh. Odd. Anyway, so the quartz dust. Well, in order to make that, we had to make this room here. Got this room all set up. We moved all of our GregTech stuff down here. We've got, this is my, you can see our low voltage area. This is where we're making our ethanol with GregTech. Matter of fact, I think the batteries are all charged back up. We can start running that again, but I don't want to deal with the noise right now, so we won't mess with it. I'm running the rotary craft pump down through here and pumping water into the brewery and the ore washing plant. The ore washing plant can actually go away. We don't need that anymore because I've replaced it with one over there at the medium voltage area. You see I put the battery buffer and the generator here in the corner so that we can wrap it around if we need to, so that way we're not coming all the way here and over there. I don't want to make it so tall anyway. I don't want to be like reaching up for like way up there to with machines and stuff. Plus, every now and then we have to move these machines around so that we can pump items or fluids into one that's connecting to it. So, yeah. Anyway, so we got that going. This is all concrete bricks, which I made a whole bunch of concrete with the immersive engineering slag that we had left over. Now we can run through here really fast because it's nice and big. Got GregTech looking over us, watching us while we screw up his machinery. This right here is just a glue tank. I needed to make some glue for something. Oh yeah, to make some circuit boards for GregTech stuff. Because you can see we've got some brand new stuff here. We've got a cutting machine and the ore washing plant, and I think those are the only new machines that we have. Because we had the centrifuge before. Oh, that's right. We've got the... Where's it at? Where is my circuit? Yeah, circuit assembling machine. By the way, some of this stuff is going to stay over here in low voltage because I found that some of these recipes don't actually have anything other than low voltage needs. Like, obviously, this one right here will require a ridiculous amount of power in order to make. But that's way later. That's like the UV tier or something like that. But like the centrifuge, I think, let's see, like very few recipes above low voltage. Yeah, like, so it's got 552 recipes that are low voltage. So you don't need anything more than that. So until I get to having to throw stone dust into a centrifuge to get stuff out of, like, if I am that desperate to where I need to start centrifuging stone dust, then we've probably got a problem. You can centrifuge deuterium into tritium, helium into helium-3, which we all know is a fuel source, a futuristic fuel source, or maybe it's actually a modern fuel source. I need to look that up. My real experience with helium-3 is through Mass Effect, so yeah, I don't know. We've got a lathe here, so we can turn ingots into rods, like iron rods and stuff like that. So we can now, instead of filing down a single ingot into a single rod, we can now turn. Actually, no. This is. Yeah, I was using this to create bolts. It's actually our extruder that I'm using in order to create rods, because you can use one ingot to create 2 rods. Still only 1 ingot per plate. I don't think that's ever going to change, but you know, you have to make sacrifices here and there. So yeah, we've got the reason why we're not currently making any more ethanol up there is because we've got these 3 tanks here, and they're all almost completely full. I had this machine running earlier, but I had to turn off because I ran out of battery power. So this one's almost full. This one is about a little over half full, and this one is completely full because I haven't been running these machines for a bit. I've got a water drum that's full of water to pump into these 2 machines. Found out you can do that, so hey, don't have to pump water all the way over here or put like a infinite water source. And eventually what I'll do is set up a second intertank with water in order to pump to these machines, so I can get rid of this drum altogether, because this is not an infinite source, but the intertank is an infinite source. So yeah, we've got those 3 barrels full of ethanol. We've got one up here that's full because we haven't used the electric blast furnace in a while. And then over here I've got my warning sign for this is the dangerous room. Actually, a very dangerous room. But I've got 4 additional full barrels or drums of ethanol here. I'm not going to be running out of that anytime soon. See, I've got some methane. This is a byproduct from some stuff that I did with Greg Tech machines. Got some hydrogen, more byproducts with the Greg Tech machines. I've also got some oxygen, little under 2.5 barrel or drums of oxygen. Some hydrochloric acid up there because I thought that I was going to end up using that to create a different chemical, but it turns out that I need a higher tier of machine in order to do that, and I haven't gotten to that yet. And some chlorine. So yeah, this is actually quite a dangerous room. I don't think that these will explode or anything, but I wanted to make it look good. This is all obsidian bricks used from the it says Tinker's Construct, but I used chisel in order to make them because I have so much obsidian laying around from killing Lycanites mobs that I was like, yeah, let's do that. They might be slightly blast proof. So hopefully that's the case and nothing will explode. Anyway, still making oil here from the oil sands ore. I just want to burn through that so that I don't have to worry about that taking up any space anymore. So, diamond dust. Yes. I'm sorry, the quartz dust. Quartz dust. Well, the quartz dust comes from the magnetic craft grinder. And a grinder is a multi-block structure, as you can see here. As a matter of fact, if we break one of them, You see what it's made of. These are all multi-block chassis, the grinder control. There is a power input here on the other side. We've got a basic generator with an intertake full of water pumping into it because it does need water. Turns water into steam in order to generate power for the machine. We've got an output here and another energy input output there. This is an input here in case you want to hopper things in, but I don't really need to, so I'm not worried about that. And this is a 4-slot output. You can't make that any bigger, I don't think. But yeah, anyway, so we'll just right click on that, turn it back into itself. And this is what it looks like. Here. Pretty neat, I think. Obviously an input. It looks like a huge hopper. And we've got the generator hooked up to it. It doesn't run unless it's actually making something, so I can just let it sit there with the charcoal in it, and it has extra steam. I think that yeah, this still has power in it, even though I broke it, so that's pretty nice. So this turned the nether quartz into the quartz dust, which I then used combined with the diamond to make the photovoltaic dust. Oh yeah, but how do I make this stuff? Well, that is another story. So in order to make this, we needed these machine housings. And we need the machine housings for all the parts. The machine housings are made with carbide ingots. Well, carbide ingots are made by combining coal dust with wrought iron. So we had to make a whole bunch of wrought iron and combine it with the coal dust so we can get the carbide ingot. And you can see it's an 8 coal dust to 1 iron ingot ratio. So yeah, it was a lot of iron in order to make this. Luckily, we've got another rotary craft machine to help us out with that, and I will show you that in a bit as well. So yeah, we put all this stuff together in order to make that diamond dust the photovoltaic dust to create the solar panels. But we also needed to make the plastic. What I had to do was use, come on, there we go. Polyethylene sheets are actually from, you can either use raw plastic and polyethylene pulp and rocket fuel, which I haven't made yet. That's actually a high tier recipe to use rocket fuel. Or you can use polyethylene dust or pulp in order to turn that into a polyethylene sheet. The polyethylene pulp comes from just smelting rubber ingots. Rubber ingots were things that we had already been making before, so that wasn't really a problem. So we put that together, put together those solar panels, and voila, we can now power our pump jack. And yeah, pretty nice. We're getting a butt ton of oil. It's great. We'll talk about those machines here in a bit. Let's go back upstairs. I'm going to take this off so I'm not wasting fuel. So yeah. Anyway, back to rotary craft. So we've got another performance engine, and down here we've got another one of those inner control units with a lever. It's currently turned off, but it does have fuel in it. It takes ethanol crystals and blaze powder. Actually, the blaze powder can be replaced with one of a few things. I know redstone is one of them, and there's one other item you can use in order to do this. But basically, this side here is just a fuel additive. It just helps the engine perform at its maximum output. Without this stuff, you actually get a worse performing engine than if you had it in there. We turn that on, and I've got a 8-to-1 gearbox here and a bevel gear, because what we have here is the extractor. The extractor is a multi-step machine that you can use to turn ores into up to 5 times their normal output. So instead of 1 ingot, we can get up to 5 ingots here. So we've done 1 stack of ores and have received 35 ore dust, 60 plus another 65. So was that 99 ore dust, 6 ore slurry, and 3 ore solution. The reason I have the gearbox on there, let's turn this on so you can see it in action. I love the animation on that. It's pretty neat. It's like the cylinders are just going full blast. Pretty cool. And let me get my screwdriver out here as well. What we'll do, we'll turn this into, this is currently in speed mode, we'll turn it into torque mode with a shift right click. The torque mode is the performance engine generates enough power in order to run the first and last steps. And you can see that here, step 1, 2, 3, 4. And I just realized that I don't have my mouse showing, so that is not helping you that I'm pointing at the little bars over there. But anyway, you can see that we're not producing enough speed to run the second and third steps. So what we do is we shift right click on that again to go full speed. And I got the multiplier achievement. That's pretty great. So now we're producing enough speed to run all 4 of the steps, but not enough torque. You need a much higher tier engine to be able to run all 4 steps with a single engine. So yeah, you can see it's got it's turning the ore dust into the slurry and then into the ore solution. You have to pump water into it for a couple of these steps. I think it's to turn the dust into the slurry and then to the solution, and then it cooks the solution and turns it into flakes. So from all of that, we got 2 ore flakes. Now, you may say, well, that's the same as you were getting. It's actually worse than you were getting from the grinder here, but that's not true. Because remember, it turned 1... Oops, I didn't mean to do that. No. Fine, I didn't mean to take those out. Whatever. All right, anyway, it took 1 of those ore dusts that we got from a single ore and then probably turned it into a couple different slurries and then into a couple of solutions. So, you know, I got 2 ore flakes from 1 solution, which is pretty efficient if you ask me. Like you can see here, 1 ore dust is turning into, see what it becomes. It's hard to tell because this is, see. Yeah, there we go. 1 ore dust turned into 2 solution. And then 1 solution is turning into, I'm sorry, that was a slurry. One slurry turned into 1 solution at that point. But then I think it might end up turning into, let's see. Yep, 2 solutions. So yeah, that's super efficient. So up to 5 times the ore output that we would normally get, because that 1 solution can then turn into 5 flakes, which is really nice. There's a % chance for it to do it, but you know, I think it's worth it to get that. So yeah, we're gonna end up with a ton of iron after this. I think I'm only gonna do this with the vanilla Minecraft ores, unless I'm really needing some of the other kinds of metals out there that are compatible with rotary craft, because some of the ores that you can grind down with GregTech into the different stuff, like if I put some stuff here in the macerator and got out some of the ore dust, or I think not ore dust, but crushed dust, yeah, crushed ore, then if I put that into the ore washing plant, then it has a chance of giving me additional outputs. Like if I put a piece of gold, crushed gold ore into here, it would give me a purified crushed gold ore, along with, I think it gives a piece, like a tiny nickel dust, and then also a stone dust. So yeah, you can end up getting additional things out of it. And then once I run it through there, I push it back into here to get the purified gold dust. And then I throw that into the centrifuge in order to get additional stuff out of there. Yeah, it's pretty nice. I like it. It's a lot of steps, and I know that I can automate it by depending on how I end up setting up everything. But for now, I'm going to do it manually because I think that I would have to set up like item filters and things like that, and have to space out my machines so I can put all that stuff in between them. Anyway, yeah. All right, so let's come over here. What is this huge thing, you may ask? This is a pressure chamber from Pneumaticraft, and I'm not going to break it because it actually has some pressure in it. Yeah, I had to click on it so you can see it's got 2 bars of pressure in there right now. And I've got these interfaces set up so that I can feed iron into it right now. I'm not doing that right now, but you feed iron into it in order to turn it into pressurized, or not pressurized, compressed iron. And then have it, and once it turns into compressed iron, it comes back out into here. The filter, you know, I can change that to whatever I need to make it at the time. Like, I think later on we're going to have to make circuits and stuff with this. And let's see here. So, oh yeah, there's the recipes. So yeah, this thing only has 24 recipes on it. So you turn iron ingots into compressed iron. You turn blocks into compressed blocks. And all of this takes different levels of pressure. And as long as the machine doesn't open, then the pressure will stay constant. You turn redstone and gold ingots into these turbine blades, which I'm not sure what they're used for yet. I'm sure that I will find out. Squid plant seeds don't actually exist. The different plant seeds don't exist, so I can't make the colored plastic in this machine. Instead, it literally just needed the compressed iron so that I could make these blocks. But you're saying, well, if you need this machine in order to make the compressed iron, well, how did you get the stuff? Well, Pneumaticraft adds in a function with TNT where if you throw some iron on the ground, place a block of TNT on top of it, and set it off, the pressure from the blast will create some compressed iron. Not in a 1-to-1 ratio, though. Some of the iron is lost. Like I threw a stack of 64 iron and only got 46 back or something like that. So, you know, there's a trade-off there. But once I got enough, though, in order to build this machine, this is the max size of the machine. It's a 5x5 chamber. It's 3x3 on the inside, I think. Yeah, 3x3 on the inside, but the whole thing is 5x5. I decided to just go for broke and build the whole big thing. So once I did that, I could start making the machines that I need. Where were we at? So you also needed to make the empty PCBs, which I need to do other things with GregTech circuits. I'm trying to become more efficient with GregTech circuitry, so that we're not using so many resources in order to create one circuit. You need this etching acid, which I haven't made yet, just because I haven't colored any plastic yet. Let's see. Also to get these transistors and capacitors, and that's it. You can turn 8 blocks of coal into a single diamond, though. Right? Yeah, that's really great. I'm not doing that at all. This is the air compressor, which I've got some speed upgrades and security upgrades in here. The security upgrade is for if the pressure gets too high, it will automatically release some of the pressure. I'm not sure how it does that, but it does that. I haven't allowed it to get too high. Because if it does get too high, then it will explode. And with it being a 5x5 chamber, I'm not sure if the explosion is based on the amount of pressure or if it's just set. Let me throw these in here. Oh, see, now we're all full of ore solutions, so we will let this fill up, I guess. Or maybe we'll flip this over to torque mode. We can run these. Excuse me. So we'll let those run and allow them to do their thing. Yeah, okay. Yep, go for it, guys. Do that. So yeah, the plastic, though, is not easy to come by. I had to build this whole system of machines over here, along with some of these air compressors. The air compressors you can't see, they're actually underground, because I tried to hide some things a little bit. I didn't want cables and pipes and stuff sticking out all over the place. So how do we make the plastic? Well, we've got this refinery. And each refinery, there's different steps of it, depending on how many refineries you decide to put together. Went ahead and did all 4 of them. Refinery is made with, let's see. Refinery. Where is that block? There it is. Refinery is made with the compressed iron and a diamond and some glass of any kind. Well, it seems like any kind. And I got 4 of them put together. I've got oil just pumping into it, and you can see there is some oil in here, and it does go in here, and it requires a temperature. I think it's 100. Oh, jeez, are you serious? Stop it! I hate those Endermen so much. Oh my god! He turned my refinery into a diamond block, into a diamond ore block. Are you serious right now? Oh man. I hate those Endermen. I want to get rid of them. I want them to go away and never come back. Where did I get these from? Oh, I probably got them from this guy, the Geonock. Cannot believe that. Well, hey. What do you say we make ourselves another refinery? Yay. Refinery. Oh, no, not refinery. Iron. We need 6 of these. And a diamond. And some glass. Oh man, I am so angry right now at that Enderman. Words can't express how angry I am. Come on, glass. Thank you. Diamond, glass, iron, refinery. Yay! I'm so glad that I get to waste my resources to make things that I've already made. Woo! Alright, there we go. Anyway, so these refineries are going. I probably lost all of that oil. This was a full drum, by the way. Not right before that, but I started with the full drum in order to make these different things. So anyway, the refinery requires a heat source. Well, you can't just like put lava next to it, because if you do, it turns into an obsidian block because it just eats up all the heat out of the lava and then loses the heat. So yeah, that's not very helpful. So we had to set up this vortex tube. Step away here in case that Enderman comes back. Vortex tube. Here we go. All right, so vortex tube, a couple of pressure tubes, a couple of gold ingots, and some of these iron ingots. The pressure tubes are actually really easy to make. I just throw the compressed iron into the extruder with the extruder shape, And it gives me a pressure tube. Not bad. Needed the medium voltage tier for it though. So yeah, once I got that, and you feed it with some steam from the air compressors, which, like I said, I have under here. No. Where are you? Where are you? Why are you messing with me? I'm trying to do a thing. I hate those guys. I don't even see one. Ugh. I'm just glad that that diamond block didn't explode. Because that would have just made me so mad. Anyway, so I've got a bunch of these air compressors down here, 5 of them to be exact, that are being fed with the charcoal from here. Should see one of them go down, or a few of them go down. I don't think we're going to stick around for that, though. So they're being fed with the charcoal that we farmed from the tree farm, which is great, because, I mean, we've got, what, I think it was 30,000 charcoal or something like that. We're not running out of charcoal anytime soon. And those are all being fed by charcoal and feeding power into the vortex tubes that I have here. And all the fluids, anyway, the oil gets fed into the refinery and turned into 4 different fluids. Those 4 fluids are diesel fuel, kerosene, gasoline, and this one is empty because it's all in here, LPG. And there's some down in here. It's not started filling this up yet because it's still filling up the fluid duct. The fluid duct has 6,100 millibuckets. LPG. Well, what do you do with that? It doesn't require any kind of pressure in order to use the LPG, because it put in some coal. It has to be coal. It can't be charcoal. Put in some coal. It burns the LPG into liquid plastic at 100 C. And then you pump the liquid plastic here into the plastic mixer, and it instantly solidifies it into plastic. I think it's, let's see, do we have, we don't have a recipe thing, do we? Anyway, oh yeah, there's the recipe thing right there. So I had it set to white plastic because you don't have to include a dye in order to make it. Excuse me. But you can turn the white plastic into whatever color of plastic you need it to be just by surrounding a colored dye with 8 plastic. And you get 8 of the colored plastic back. So, not that bad. Apparently there's some lava nearby here, because I hear lava creatures. Yeah, maybe it's below us. I'm not sure. So yeah, we've got all this stuff that we set up in order to create plastic, because we need plastic to the different colored types of plastic in order to create different kinds of things later on. And we'll get to that once we get to it. Let's see, anything else that we did? Oh, so this room, I took some of my thousands and thousands of cobblestone, tens of thousands of cobblestone, I think even hundreds of thousands of cobblestone, in order to make these cobblestone bricks with the chisel mod. Concrete bricks, it says Greg Tech, but I use the chisel mod on regular concrete in order to turn them into the bricks. And then these fallout lights are actually really easy to make. Fallout lights. Right here. Is that them? Inverted white fallout lights. That's what I mean. Oh, same recipe. Anyway, so a couple of gold nuggets or coins or ore berries, some iron bars, some white Illimar, which is made by using white dyes and gold glowstone dust, and this cathode, which is a redstone torch on top of a circuit plate. Circuit plate is just a cooked stone. Yeah, that's it. Cooked piece of stone turns it to 2 circuit plates. So super easy to make. And I made a bunch of them because I like them. I think they look good down here. They provide a good amount of light. They look pretty decent while they're recessed. I just kind of wish that you didn't go down into the hole while you walked over them. But that's fine. I did have to make a bit of a change here because you see I had to use the bricks here on this side of the door and on the other side as well, because it turns out that the concrete bricks raise you up off the ground slightly or something and prevent you from being able to go through 2 block high holes. So I had to do that on both sides. Don't think that we have anything else. So yeah. So that's us. All caught up with what we've been doing. It doesn't I know it doesn't seem like a lot of work, but trust me, it has been so much work because a lot to do really with the trial and error with the different chemicals and stuff from Greg Tech. Because I saw one way to make circuits, but it required a specific chemical in order to make it. So I started down the path of it, then realized I needed a higher tier of voltage Greg Tech in order to complete the whole project. So I had to stop in the middle of it while I was making all of that, like the hydrogen, and the hydrochloric acid and stuff. I probably could have saved some time if I had just actually paid attention to the recipes and seen what was needed in order to make those things. But, you know, what are you going to do? I haven't made any other adjustments around the base. I think that I'm going to end up knocking this wall back and just turning this whole thing into a big rectangle. I feel bad because I like the original shape of it. It was, you know, it was a workshop, but it wasn't a big rectangular building or anything. So it makes me sad that I'm going to have to redo it and reshape it. Just because there's other types of machines that we're going to have to make. And I want to make sure that once it comes down to it, I need a 16 by 16 square area that this redstone flux radiator is going to be able to reach. So, because it's up here is going to be all RF powered machines. I will have to find a way to generate more RF. I think that what I'm going to do is end up putting together some immersive engineering windmills, just because I don't feel like carving out more of those hills in order to create the water wheels. Water wheels are great, but man, they require a whole lot of setup in order to make. We'll probably skip, if we can, straight to the, let's see, wind mill. If we can, we're probably going to skip straight to the improved windmill. Let me see here. It requires a refined iron shaft, which is done with a block of steel. So I can do it. It's not bad. Not that bad. It requires 8 of these improved windmill blades, which are made with tough fabric and a regular windmill blade. Tough fabric is industrial hemp fiber surrounding a stick. Not difficult to make at all. So I think next time you see me, I'll have a windmill going to generate more RF for free to help us power our machines a little bit more. It's still not going to get us up to the, I think, 1000 RF per tick that we need in order to stay equal. Unless I make, I think we're over there at like 450 RF. Yeah, because it's 150 times, yeah, 450 RF per tick out of the water wheels. So we would somehow need to make up 550 RF per tick in order to get to 1000. We are not there yet. I was also, oh yeah, I forgot. I think in a previous episode, or maybe off camera, I found this right here, the useless generator. And I was like, oh man, we got something else to generate RF. Yeah, no, not so much. It's powered by pink. So anything that's pink dyed, you can throw in there. But it only generates 64 RF per tick. It really is useless. So yeah, we're not going to be messing with that at all. Oh, that's right. I showed you that solar generator outside that's hooked up to our wires. It's generating a whopping 1 RF per tick, which I knew that was going to be the case because it's advanced rocketry solar generator, and a lot of the advanced rocketry machines don't actually require a whole lot of RF to run. But let me show you what all that required. Solar generator. Here we go. So a solar generator is made with a small battery, some redstone flux output plugs, and a solar panel. Let's start with the output plug. That's well, it's made with an input plug, but the input plug is made with the small batteries and the machine structure. Machine structure is made with a bunch of aluminum plates surrounding an aluminum ingot, and there's no other way to make it, but you do get 8 of them out of the recipe, so not that bad of a trade. So 7 total aluminum ingots in order to get 8 of those blocks. What was that again? Yeah, machine structure blocks. The batteries are made with battery alloy and either nickelite dust or electrotine dust, and then a tin cable. By the way, if you are playing this pack, I don't recommend nickelite dust at all. Nickelite dust is gained by throwing electrotine ore blocks into a rotorcraft grinder. Don't do that, because the nickelite dust is used for some of the same recipes as the electrotine, but the electrotine is actually used in more recipes than nickelite, so not worth it. Don't do the nickelite. It's not going to help you. So where were we? Oh yeah, so we got the battery. Solar panel. Solar panel is made with a machine structure block and a basic solar panel. Well, a basic solar panel requires some red alloy ingots and solar panels from Project Red Expansion. The rabbit hole's getting pretty deep here. But wait, there's more. Solar panels from Project Red Expansion are made with iron ingots, some wood slabs, an electrotine alloy ingot, and these electrosilicon chips, I guess you could say, or wafers. These things are pretty self-explanatory. I think that I've shown these earlier in the series on how to make those. Electrosilicon is made, well, you can either make it from electrotine silicon compound, or you can make it from silicon wafers and electrotine. Guess what? Electrotine silicon compound doesn't have a recipe. Can't make it. Not going to help you. How do you make silicon wafers? Well, that requires that you make a silicon boule and either use a diamond saw from Forge Microblocks to turn into 4 silicon wafers, or you can use a GregTech cutting saw and either lubricant to turn it into 12 wafers, water to turn it into 8, and that's it. I went with the cutting saw route. How do you make the silicon boule? Well, you take some coal and some sand, put it in an alloy smelter, and you get a silicon boule. You can also take a sandy coal compound. I think maybe you can't actually make that. Yeah, you can. Exactly the same recipe. 8 sand, color block, or any coal block, turns it into a sandy coal compound. So you can do that by either route. How do we make the cutting machine? Advanced cutting. Advanced, okay. Advanced cutting. So I went straight to the advanced cutting machine because that's what you need. And here's what you need in order to make it. Ridiculous. You need this diamond saw blade. Diamond saw blade is a cobalt brass gear surrounded by iron dust. The cobalt brass gear is made with cobalt brass plates and rods. But in order to make cobalt brass, you've got to combine. I think you actually need to make the dust before you can do anything with it. Let me see. Yeah, you have to make the dust, I think. Cobalt brass dust is made with brass dust, aluminum powder, and cobalt ore. Well, or cobalt dust. I mean, I've seen some cobalt ore out in the wild, but I didn't think I was going to need it that soon because it's a Tinker's Construct thing. But we got lucky because we ended up finding some cobalt ore berry bushes, which I farmed for like an hour in order to get enough of the ore berry to turn into the nuggets, which I then turned into ingots. Oh yeah, I've got some gold nuggets in here. Ingots in here. That's from the Greg Tech work that I did with gold ore. Okay. So, yeah, had to do all that in order to make the diamond saw blade. And then I needed the electric circuit, and I ended up making... Which one did I make? Circuit. Not the... So yeah, the good integrated circuit. So I'm trying to remember the method that I made to do that. Nope, not that one. Actually, no, I didn't do that one. Good integrated circuit. Yeah, so I made those, which required the fine gold wire, the integrated logic circuit, which we were making for the previous tier, and the resistors. I think I used, yeah, I ended up using regular resistors, and then I also made these SMD resistors somehow. How did I make those? Oh yeah, carbon dust and electrum wire, because you get 24 of those out of the recipe. That's pretty good. Molten polyethylene, again, rubber dust, melted down, makes that. And it just, I mean, it just went on and on with the crafting in order to make this stuff. The conveyor belt was, you know, a couple of these electric motors, some rubber sheets, and oh my god, I was just crafting for days and days and days. What else? There was something else that I had to get like really deep into. Not the integrated processor. The good electronic circuit. That's what it was. Nope, not that one either. Good. No, stop it. Come on. Good integrated circuit. There we go. So I had to either get the molten soldering alloy or the molten lead. I can't. You know, lead is pretty rare for me right now, so I didn't do that. Molten tin. I think I ended up going that route because I got a bunch of tin. So yeah, molten tin or molten soldering alloy. It just kept going and going and going with the crafting. And then I needed also these right here, not the plastic circuit boards. Hang on. Good electronic circuit. Is that it? No. Come on. Good integrated circuit. Yeah. So I also needed these phenolic circuit boards in order to make those. And this is where I got into the chemical stuff, because I was like, you know, I could use glue and some wood pulp in order to make 8 of these. But what if I used this bisphenol A stuff in order to get 32? So then I started looking at, well, what does it take to make this stuff? You know, this bisphenol A. Well, you need phenol. Well, how do you make phenol? Well, you gotta do, not in the distillery. You need oxygen and cumene. Well, how do you get cumene? And it just went down this whole rabbit hole of chemicals that I just finally decided I was fed up with and didn't want to attempt to make anymore. I'm probably going to end up making that stuff later on, but jeez, all of the effort that it took in order to get to that point. You know, I really like this pack because it's getting me into stuff that I've never done before, but oh man, the headaches involved in order to do all the research to make this stuff is just ridiculous. I had to watch videos on how to set up some of these machines, like especially this guy right here. I was like, well, I mean, yeah, grinder control, but I set it down and nothing happened. I was like, okay, so what do I need here? I ended up having to go and watch videos on how to set that up. And yeah, it was just a huge headache. What are we up to now? Almost 8 million. So in the time that I've made this video, we've gotten nearly a million buckets of oil, or a million millibuckets of oil. That's just nuts. I mean, it only runs during the daytime too, because it's got those solar panels. So yeah, you can see exactly how much oil is actually over there in that area. Oh, and so there is a machine or a device that you can use in what is it? Let's see. What mod is the pump jack from again? Let me see here. It's from, oh, it's from Magnetic Craft. Okay. Magnetic Craft. You get this device here, the oil prospector, that you can use in order to locate sources of oil. Takes a small battery and an iron ingot and a tungsten ingot. I'm nowhere near making tungsten. It's so far out of my league right now. Yeah, I can't do anything with it. So yeah. Oh, we gotta switch this over. God, I should have been paying attention to that. I probably wasted so much fuel. Oh, okay. Hang on. Let me grab. Oh, so there we go. We got some secondary output with tungsten flakes. Now all I need is to find a way to get this thing up to 1250 degrees. And I think it's 1250. Let me see. What do we need in order to make tungsten? We have to make spring steel eventually. It's 1150. 1,000 seed to do bedrock stuff. So hey, if I could find a way to get to get bedrock dust, then we can start making bedrock rotorcraft stuff. Wouldn't that be great? Yeah, I'm pretty far away from that. Although a bedrock pickaxe wouldn't be too bad. I think maybe it never breaks. I'm not sure. And you can make bedrock armor as well. Yeah, bedrock armor. The durability is what is that? 2 billion, 2.1 billion. Yeah, it would almost never break. I don't know what this thermal stability upgrade is for, or the torsion resistance upgrade. You can make a bedrock drill. Oh, yeah, I forgot. That extractor over there requires a drill in order to run. You can make a HLCLA steel drill to stick into it, but you also have to make one in order to even make the machine to begin with. There's some alloy ingots. You need 1500 C for that. 1200 C for the ferromagnetic ingot. 750 C for the triso fuel pellet for reactor craft. Might get into reactor craft eventually. Actually, I can find a way to get into that without blowing anything up. Apparently, you can turn eggs into quicklime. So I got that going for me. Come on. No. That's all Greg Tech stuff. I don't care about it. Or not Greg Tech, but... Whoa. Hang on. Did it not show me... Or maybe you can't make... No. That's right. You cannot make tungsten with the blast furnace. You need the pulse jet furnace from rotary craft, and we're not there yet. Yeah, these tungsten flakes are just going to end up taking up space in my storage. But you know, what are you going to do? It happens. Anyway, I have rambled on for long enough about the things that we've done here. So, that's going to be the end of our episode today. If you liked what you saw today, please give the video a like. It really helps me out. And if you enjoyed what you saw and want to see more like it in the future, click that subscribe button and you'll be notified when I post a video. Thank you all for watching, and be excellent to each other.